about 2.5 months ago, and it's a really awesome tool, first of all, with a super amazing customer service team behind it. Uh, I personally love the product. Uh, I've never seen a project management application like this. It is just like so many amazing things about ClickUp. They didn't pay me to make this video, by the way. They did give us a super amazing discount, which makes me love the product even more. In fact, it's on their website. If you go, you can select your own price, pay what you can model, which I think is really amazing considering what's going on in the world with coronavirus, as well in general in terms of affordability and not letting budgetary constraint stand in the way of you being able to make use of such a phenomenal product. So I use ClickUp for everything. I won't go into all the sections because there's some personal stuff in there, but I'm hoping that after watching this, you may also consider making use of this tool. So starting with like this is there's a home screen which I'm not gonna like talk about right now, but that's really like the radar for the day. I don't make use of that heavily because we have like lists set up, and it's really up to you. Every view in ClickUp is gonna look different, so it's not a comprehensive review. But what I try to do is I start my day with, instead of home, I started with notifications. So we're still like getting a sense of the tool. So a month and a half, 2 months from now, it may look very different, and I may actually start using the tool the way it was intended. But yeah, like I try to keep on top of the notifications. I encourage my team to tag me with the stuff that needs my attention. So I've scheduled regular periods of time throughout the day for me to be able to go through basically what I just said. I don't like a lot of email. I don't like a lot of messages. So yeah, this is great. Keeps us on track. Usually, I know what everyone's working on. Actually, like there's only a finite number of things working on, so I can access it through the spaces which I'll talk about in a second. I'm just gonna go sequentially here. So the pulse feature is useful when it comes to being able to figure out who's online, and you can do something like this, which will show you what the individual's working on. um, so as you can see, we have some tasks there, which we cannot anyway, so there's nothing private in here just yet, but I want to be able to go into each one of these tasks and pull up details. But yeah, this is the Pulse feature. In terms of the licenses, you can have a direct membership, which is paid and unlocks the core functionality depending on the kind of plan you have. In addition to that, the plan that we're on for each member paid membership, we get 5 guest licensees. So we have 15 guest licensees in total. If somebody's interested in being a mentor or an observer, feel free to just send me an email or just figure out a way to get in contact with me, as well as stating why you'd like to be an observer as a guest. So we have a sister company called Launch Today, and for Launch Today, what I've been doing is I've been creating guest licensees, and we've been setting up all of our training uh, through ClickUp. So if I go back a couple of days, my system's a little slow right now because the other machine is doing something. But yeah, if I go back a couple of days, I have a snapshot of exactly who was logged in and what they were working on. I don't think this pulse feature works the way we think it works. It says it rates the activity based on how many people are engaging with a particular task, whereas I am more interested in seeing uh, who all is working on what during a specific activity. Anyways, if I go back to last week, the information for the guests also pops up here. So I can choose to hide guests, and it would just show our core team members. And this is in my local time. So there are team members that I have who are on well, different time zones. Next up is the goals feature. Is something we are tinkering with right now. So you can set up different targets, and there's 4 different areas here, and you know the mechanism is quite binary. So this is something, as you can see, we were just tinkering with it today. So I don't know how much of this I can actually demonstrate, but there's stuff like currency, yes, no answers. Then you can have a list of tasks that you can embed in a bucket and contingent on how many tasks are resolved in that bucket. It would give you an overall kind of display of what the overall rate of completion is looking like. Oh, here we go. That's a better example. So that's a simple yes no kind of a. Oh, so this is timeline, and I have one task in here. So yeah, I can't speak about this too much because we're still trying to get a hold of this. We're gonna start using this hopefully next week and use more of the goals feature because we want to be more milestone driven versus activity driven. I don't make use of favorites, so I'm gonna skip that. So this is the core feature, one of the core features of ClickUp. Most of the things you can add like anything within a space, but everything begins with a space. So first of all, everything here you see here in the purple and the yellows, and well, I've got a customized logo here. These are all spaces, and inside a space you can have lists. You can add documents there. You can have folders. You can add other stuff like CRM. There's a whole bunch of options, and within the list itself, there are other templates that you can leverage. So I'm not going to share my personal list, but if I go, we just set this up not too long ago. So once I am setting up the class for launch today, my setup looks something very similar. So I would create a task, that would be the actual container where my information is going to go. So within that task, what's a good example here? Let's take a look at this one. Amanchu was our very first paying customer. And I didn't track the time on this one, but within the task itself, this is where the main assignment goes. This is where the priority is. You can assign different priorities here. Then these are different labels that you can choose. You can add new labels, obviously. This is the core description of the task. You can add to-do lists in there if you want. You can add subtasks. You can sort them. You can define relationships between this and other tasks. You can kind of do it through the dependencies feature. I believe that's how that works. And obviously you can attach anything you want. So we get unlimited storage with ClickUp, which is phenomenal because stuff like videos, which may take up a lot of bandwidth, we don't have to store it anywhere anymore. We don't need Box or Google Drive. ClickUp serves the need for not just task and project management, but for also as an unlimited store of any content. So we try not to put too much stuff in here because we don't want to cram their servers with junk data that we're not going to use. So at least I'm conscientious, just that like do things like images, screenshots, and other data intensive stuff. I just put it on an external hard drive. Because what's the probability I'm going to go back and review something like that in the next little while? So that's at least my litmus test for, anyways, when it comes to that decision. This is the section for comments. So anything that goes here shows up here. You can reply back to comments. You can, if somebody else put a comment, you can kind of react to it. It's like more like a Facebook kind of a thumbs up or a thumbs up in general. There are other things you can do here is you can tag other folks. You can add smileys, obviously. The feature I really like is recording your screen. So I could just kind of It shows both of my screens right now. But if I was going to do something like this, I'm recording a screen within a screen right now, which is interesting. But I can now talk and like show or demonstrate what I'm referring to, which is really useful if you're not feeling like typing like a paragraph. You can encapsulate obviously a lot of information in something visual with some audio behind it. So that's really useful, and that's how you stop it. Now my screen recording is done, and I can just say something like test, right? And I can then play it back. Was going to do something like this. I'm recording a screen within a screen right now. So yeah, super amazing feature. I love this feature. We kind of use it heavily when it comes to not just screen cast, but also just making regular comments, and then the ability to be able to assign it to somebody. You can either assign it directly, or you can just mention somebody. So when you assign it, it shows up in a particular area in the notifications, versus mentions would show up under another area. Now, if I assign it to myself, just for demonstration, not only will it show up in my notification, I have to then go in and click on resolve. So when I do that, then this marks it as completed for me. So something changed over here as well, if you notice. So yes, amazing features. You can do other stuff like remind yourself, which I don't make use of a lot. But let me see. All right, I was just wondering what's going on there. So yeah, that was like a little demo. I think what else you can do, you can obviously not just add attachments to the main area, but you can add attachments to the comments itself. You can embed new documents from within here, and you can email the whole thing as with your email client. There are other features here which are super useful. You can copy a URL to the task itself. When you paste this within ClickUp, it formats it accordingly. It's not just a URL-based link, but it's actually populating it somewhat in this format, populating the actual title from the clipboard. Then there are all these other sub features. You can make a subtask. Like I said, create a dependency, link it to other tasks. You can duplicate the task, which I love, because a lot of times it's the same set of fields that I've chosen. So I just go in, duplicate it, and take out the fields that I don't want. So usually when I'm duplicating a task, I take out the attachments and the comments, and if I'm assigning it to the same person, I just kind of go and I take out the subtask as well usually, and I rename it and I click duplicate, and then I can choose if I don't choose anything, it would clear it in the same list that the parent subtask was in. If I choose something else, obviously it's going to show elsewhere. So I really like that feature as well. So you can do other stuff here. You can try different templates, which we haven't tinkered with a whole bunch, and stuff like milestones is also something I haven't tinkered with a whole lot. You can set permissions for the task to be accessible publicly, yeah. So that's super useful. Last but not the least, is simple things like due date, date created. I haven't started using this yet, so can't speak about this. You can estimate how long a task will take, and when you track the time, then it kind of does the matching automatically, which also shows up in the dashboard. We'll talk about it in a second or in a couple of minutes. You can modify the amount of time you track. So super useful features. I've never used the feature directly from here, but probably should, because I'm always setting up meetings manually. Let's go ahead and okay, it's asking me to log in, which I'm not going to do right now. But yeah, I don't mind sharing my Zoom details with ClickUp, but not the other way around. Zoom's always asking me for my Gmail login. I'm just like, oh, give me access to your calendar and email. Like, I don't know, man. It's a good service, but I don't know if I like you guys that much. ClickUp, on the other hand, anyways, sharing too much information at this point. So yeah, that's an example of I actually tracked some time here, so that's Yeah, I made some changes here. So everything goes into one bucket now. This whole bucket, ClickUp is the overall bucket. Everything goes in a task for us. And this comes from David Allen, getting things done. I believe I heard David Allen say something in the survey. He's like, try to use one system. So he uses a combination of offline and online systems. But I believe for online system, he recommends sticking with one system. And ClickUp just does just job for us. Now, within the list feature itself, you have different sections. Usually, by default, the tasks that are closed do not show up unless you click something like this. And then this is what your view looks like. You can collapse this, and I can do a whole bunch of things. I can make this view. I can save it for everyone. I can just choose it for my own self. I can auto save this view. I can export this view. I can click on here, and I can expand the subtasks that may show up, which is not a whole lot here. I can do like filtering. I can do some automation. So we have done some automation right now. Rusid on my team has basically, because we have like different spaces, we're not sure if this is the best method, but what we did, what we wanted to do was create a consolidated status report of everything everyone's working on. And so the alternative to this was to do it manually. So we were doing this manually. And yeah, this is not a introduction to ClickUp at this point. Well, it was just like this was taking up a lot of our time, at least my time, because I'm the only one who updates the status report. And I just thought it's better if you crowdsource this and the team takes ownership and accountability of something like this. So our status report starts in the opposite order, so you don't have to like it's a bit of a work scrolling it down, but then I guess as the year rolls by, you'd have to scroll less. So it's one of those trade-offs. But yeah, this is all populated manually. It doesn't show up automatically. So we got some automation going, and this is all populated automatically. The drawback is that we have to every task that is created is automatically replicated in the status report. So we're basically getting the tool to recreate everything that was done. Something to this effect. We're getting the documentation ready right now. So we can either do a list-based view here or a table-based view. For some reason, my table-based view doesn't show up the way we want it to. That's one of the issues we are working on fixing. So I haven't used Airtable myself, so I don't know how different this is going to be from Airtable. But yeah, that doesn't look like because it's not showing the tasks that are closed. Anyways, so yeah, so that was a little segue into ship reports. Okay, now the other thing I did was use a template to set up training, and when the training we had to cut it short for our customer number one, because they had a job offer in which they need to prepare for that in their master's thesis. So it's just timing. But we customized the training for the sister company, launched today, and it looks something like this. So there's not just the class category, but I think this is a good example of how the container should, in theory, be working. You have a parent container with all the details in the task, and then there are details embedded within the subtasks. So the expectation is that the user or the person is going to go in the overall bucket and read the instructions and then tackle the workload in the subtask. what happens then is if the individual or the user uh, track their time in each one of the buckets, and they've been doing good work here, and we've been providing them feedback with recorded sessions and whatnot. But once the work is tracked here, so it was estimated it was going to take 12 minutes, take 2 more minutes, something like that. So once it's tracked here, it is automatically rolled up in here, so you don't have to do the math. And I think that's a great feature. This took a little longer. It's because I've made a different video about this, but it's because the first couple of days it took us longer to sync up. So it was around 5 hours, but it took us like 2.5 hours just to sync up. So naturally, this was, time track was more than what we had estimated it to be. But yeah, so this is a good example of how the system should be leveraged. This was around the what we expected, and yeah, so you can also do other things like you can add checklists in here. So they show up a little differently than subtasks, and the other details I've already reviewed. Alrighty, so yeah, so I gotta get rid of some clutter here because I copied this over from a template. I've already spoken about this. So this is our core area. This in our the core work that a group of companies are doing, subject to name change potentially because of we haven't cleared the trademarks and copyrights. So, a reminder to freeze the gym membership. So what I did was in Asana we had like a lot of tasks. So I just the sections. I just made it simpler. Just have a milestone, make sale, and there's some stealth activities which we should not be disclosing publicly to everyone. So yeah, so this is what this section looks like. It's popular with the right amount of detail. One feature we've got to make use of more is the priority sections. That came out of making use of more of the dashboard side of things. But yeah, so this is what the section looks like, and same goes for things on the healthcare side of things. Dashboards. Something I've been. I started tinkering with them. I took the lead here, and I set this up about 2 weeks ago. So you're using it about 2 weeks. There's a chat feature. I think you can only do one-on-one. I haven't figured a way to. I guess I could like mention somebody, and they would be added to this as well. But yeah, so that's like the chat feature. Based on the priorities you set for the task, which I was just talking about. Clickup does an automatic rollout for you, and then I can just kind of click on my name to be able to see what exactly is it that I was working on. I haven't been able to figure out what like okay, so I created this task 406 hours ago, but I wish there was a little bit of like some way of like sorting this by anyways, I don't know. Because if it's doing a breakdown by priority, then I guess I added a completely different widget here. So I added a completed. Okay, sorry, it's 2 different widgets. So yeah, sorry. Okay, never mind. Just ignore me for this one. Time reporting is super useful. This is something I was thinking about last night. Overwhelming amount of our times going towards what we refer to as ASI, awake-based industries, as you can see. So this is actually true. It's not just because we use that space as a default. We'd like it to be different, but it is. This is what it is right now. So this is for this week, and that's the time reporting for last week, and that is what our numbers are looking like. If I expand this, then it gives me a breakdown of what exactly were the tasks and how much time they actually took versus how much time we estimated that they would take. This is a total number of tasks by breakdown. This is all the same data in different kind of views, and um, these are the number of tasks that we have assigned that have not been completed. They do include like stale tasks in some of the stale lists that I mentioned. Our number is not actually this high. It's not even this high. It's much lower. Um, so yeah, this rolls into this, but this number is, like I said, not that high. So it's just a different way of looking at the priority breakdown, which was kind of like this was showcased here. So I just kind of added a bunch of different dashboards in order to be able to get in like a pulse on what are the high and normal and low priority tasks that we have. This is an interesting feature in the dashboards. There's a breakdown of how the labeling kind of works. Um, the system does the calculation automatically in regards to what percentage of the tasks. I don't know how this actually works because I don't know if it's actually doing the math in the background in regards to how much time has been spent on a specific task with a specific label versus the compared to the overall amount of time spent on all the tasks. So I don't know if it does that kind of math, but it's still, I should ask the support team. But the the training and development aspect has been quite heavy for us. Can't remember if this is pulling data from 3 locations. So if I take out launch today, I wonder if this number is going to drop. Where is training? Yeah, so it's still pretty high compared to the other activities that we do. We do a lot of 3S, sweep, sort, standardized, and we do a fair bit of training. And I'm going to add that back in there. And yes, it's useful to have that level of customization for the dashboard. Sorry, just gonna make sure it looks looking good now. Yeah, it looks like it's back to the number that it was at. This is a breakdown of who completed how many tasks during the different durations. Our guests are showing up in this list as well. Something we need to fix. I like this feature because it gives, like this was the thing I was referring to earlier on, who's working on what. Still not, I'd like some things to be changed here, but I think it's a good start. Because having that, I think there should be like some column, like a field here, like something here. So I could sort by, I could click here, high priority, or like, we'll just sort by priority, sort by due date, sort by this. And this is what led us to, that was the thing that led us to automate the shift report aspect, because some of these functionalities, it didn't, at least I can't find it in the dashboards that are available. And there are other dashboards too. This is just a I guess a snapshot of some of the dashboards. And as you will see, there are a lot other dashboards you can make use of if you upgrade to the business paid plan. We were just on the unlimited plan. So I only wonder and imagine what these prints look like under the business category. And maybe what I was just talking about is this could be it. See your priority over time. Um, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this is what's who's working on what. Everybody will figure out how exactly this is calculated. Um, I guess if you have a notification that's going to trigger at a defined point in time, and if it was an action within like a like a window, I'm not sure if this is how it works, but uh, I have like this many, and I have this many overdue tasks, but I also have like the majority of the tasks. So anyway, so Sandbox is just a area that nobody's taken up on the offer to break things here. So Jared Leto is looking a little lonely there. Uh, portfolio looks like this. For example, the overall list, you can set start date and dates, start party, and assign an owner. We haven't started making use of this feature very heavily. Maybe we should, so that there are clear lines of accountability. And finally, last but not the least, there's the documentation feature. Oh, sorry, I forgot to add. Yeah, well, actually, already mentioned the template. You can add new dashboards, and I don't think there's a limit to how many dashboards you can add. You can add like folders. I think you can add folders on there. Let's see. Maybe not. Maybe that's with the other new dashboard. No. No, I think I just created that one. Just create that one either. Oh, okay. That's why they kept popping up, because I keep typing. Made a mistake there. Okay. Yeah, I don't think you can create folders here, but you can create folders within spaces. Yeah. Okay, last feature in this plan that I have is lists. Sorry, documents. And I don't think you can create folders here, at least not with this plan. But the documentation feature is fairly simple. I haven't been able to figure out why this shows up here and here. I guess it's just to be able to highlight that. But if you type it here, you see what I'm saying? Okay, so let's try this again. Oh, never mind. Okay, it's the same thing. I stand corrected. Yeah, okay, so it just takes a while to okay, I have no idea what's going on there. But and you can embed images here, add tasks in here. You can tag somebody in a comment. These are all the other features. You can pull up a YouTube video. You can do some other stuff in terms of these are some of the other formatting options that are available. You can share this with the team, share with a space, share it publicly, which is really useful. And yeah, it's not a full-blown kind of word processor, but it does the job. I think it does the job rather well. because you can even have stuff like table of contents in here. So I don't need this document. Oh, you can pull up, most of the things have templates, so you can, I didn't show you guys the templates for the lists because there's a lot of cool templates in the list feature. There's like CRM, class management. There's like so many awesome templates. But like this is the documentation section. So this is like meeting minutes, this company processes. So I'm just gonna pull this up as an example. So I don't know why I cannot just it's asking me to download it. Oh, I don't know what happened there. So I'm going to use this template. And now it shows up here. So it just saves you that hassle of doing all that. All that work. Right? So the document had 2 pages. There's like some kind of GIF that is included in there as well. I don't need this right now, so I'm going to delete it. We haven't really used a lot of templates, so yeah, this is what our system, we just like have simple needs right now. So, and finally there's the settings area. You can change the view. I like things a little different, like more like different preferences. Some people on my team like the dark mode. And you can integrate it with other systems. So these are what some of the integrations look like at the moment. I haven't really made use of this feature. GitHub is there as well, so I don't know how that integration actually works. Alrighty. This is where you can set up different features and whatnot. Oh yeah, the apps. So the features you were seeing in the lists area and elsewhere, they're always adding new apps for free. I think most of these are free. I'm not sure if anyone is paid or on a different plan. Yeah, so I shared this one already. Some of the other ones are, they kind of explain themselves. What else? I shared this one. Nested subtasks. Do I need this? Do we need this? We need a subtask within a subtask within a subtask. Let's think about it. Not at the moment. Tasks, subtasks, and checklist kind of works. Yeah, that could be useful. Do not use that. Do use that. Spoke about this. Spoke about this with dependencies and whatnot. If I remember correctly, if that's what we're talking about. This kind of popped up when I was resetting the date during the demo, which is really useful because if you got like more than a couple of subtasks in a task and you're changing the date, you don't want to go back into each one of the subtasks and change the dates as well. So this is really useful. And the fact that you have the option not to do that when that thing pops up is also a great feature. I'm not sure how this works. Don't know how this works. Like I said, I haven't made use of the sprints. Spoke about this. That kind of explains itself. Comment, nested comments. Spoke about this. spoke about this actually. Oh, I need this. Ah, all right. This is the feature I was talking about. That it would be really nice to be able to see who exactly is working on what and how much time they're spending in each one of these areas. Spoke about this. Spoke about this. I wonder what the difference between these two is. Spoke about this through Pulse. Spoke about this, and I think this is a business one as well. Yeah. Yeah. So these are the apps that are available with my plan, and that's it. So this is my tutorial for clickup.com, CLICKUP.com. Like I said, I have not been offered anything by the ClickUp team to do this. I just truly believe it's a really, really, really amazing system. If you are using any, like I haven't used Monday.com or any one of the other products, but I hope after watching this video, you would want to try this tool. I think it's free. There's a limitation of 100 megabytes, and I have no idea how quickly that's going to fill up. I guess if you don't do a lot of attachments, you could use it for task management and use a combination of other features. But I think it's definitely worth what we're paying for this. We have like I said, I can't disclose what the price is. We have a custom price. It really fits our budget. ClickUp is a phenomenal tool. I encourage you to give it a try and bring a little bit of productivity, more productivity, and more structure in your life. Hopefully, this is useful. Thank you. Bye now.